No, I mean, just, really appreciate everyone's support. But listen, we got to move on too. 24 hours is up, and we're moving on, and a lot of work to do to get ourselves ready this week for New England, and move us forward as a football team here. So, with all due respect to your question, I think that's it, really.
Okay, and just one more, because we haven't spoke to you since you got off the plane. I know you've encountered an experience like that, but what did this latest example of an atmosphere like that? What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, that was incredible, man. It'll stay with me the rest of my life. Just great for this city, great for our fans, great for our players to experience that. Always nice, man. You get home in the middle of the night and it's as cold as it was, and the fans are out there to welcome us home. Just special. We've got some new players on our team and some new staff members on our coaching staff, and this is the first time that they've seen what we've been trying to explain to them. So it was really cool.
Thanks a lot, Sean.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, Thad Brown. I wanted to ask you, we talked about how home field advantage is different this year with no fans. I'm assuming, though, that when you talk about an advantage to being at home, sleeping in your own bed, not traveling, knowing the facility, all those things are a part of it. So this year, if normal home field advantage is 100%, what percentage of home field advantage is there still this year?
This sounds like a math problem on an SAT.
Well, I'm really taxing you right now, Sean.
No, I just think I still think it's an advantage. But the statistics, I think, don't necessarily support that as much as I think most home teams would want. So I think it's just over 50%, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of wins and losses this season. I haven't followed it the last couple of weeks, but last time I saw the number, it was just over 50% win percentage for home teams. It may have changed since then. But there is something to be said for familiarity a little bit, I would say, Thad. So, but listen, I think the thing that you've seen with our team is we've played in a lot of different places, a lot of different times, and on short weeks, long weeks. So, for our team at least, we're comfortable where we have to go.
One of the reasons I ask is that moving forward, the likely scenario is that by the time you kick off on Monday night, the best seed you guys can get is a 2 seed, which you can get an extra home game for moving from a 3 to a 2. How important is it going to be for this team to try and chase that 2 seed these last 2 weeks?
Well, it's always important to get as high a seed as you can. That's my firm belief. You want to get as high a seed as you can and play as well as you can, and win the games moving forward that you can control.
Even though the home field advantage is minimal this year.
Yeah, I mean, I just think we want to play our best football. I really believe that. We've got a competitive locker room, competitive coaches and staff, and we want to continue to do our best to grow as a football team at the same time. And I think the guys would say the same thing. When you go out there, you want to win. So,
thanks, Sean. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Hey, Sean, how you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. The John Feliciano joked after the game that Jerry Hughes needs to work on ball security. As that play is developing and you see him scoop the ball up, and he's weaving in and out of traffic, what's going through your mind?
Well, I think half the sideline knew what was going through my mind, Josh. That's a loaded question. You may already know the answer to that. I was in no uncertain terms telling him he better keep that ball in Buffalo Bills possession and make sure he ended the play with that in Jerry Hughes' possession, or else we were going to have a little bit of a conversation there. But that was an awesome return, huh? Now he credits his high school running back coach. So maybe we need to get that guy here as well and teach the rest of the defense how to return takeaways. But that was a great return and a great moment for Jerry. There's a guy that's been around here a long time and certainly put in a lot of sweat equity into this place, and real happy for him and his family.
That's great. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate your time.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, Dan Fates in Rochester. Last year we talked, you said you're frustrated when the offense doesn't move the ball and score points. How do you feel about your offense this year?
Yeah, I like it when they move the ball and score points. And I like it when our defense doesn't let people move the ball and limits points. So, Yeah, I mean, I think we've shown that we can play some good complementary football. I like the way we've been able to move the ball and score points. That's the name of the game, right? I mean, you got to be able to do that to win games.
Last year, you guys were 24th in the league in points per game and yards per game. You're now at 5th and 6th in the league. What does that say about patience and the process?
Well, I think it says that we've improved. We're about developing people, developing players. I think it's been intentional in terms of what Brandon and I discussed in the offseason and how we needed to improve and the areas we needed to address. And so, I think that it's important it's been a big part of our improvement this year as a team is that we've improved offensively and give credit where credit's due. Starting with Brian Dable and Josh and to add Steph to the equation, but it's really the whole offense. Doesn't just come down to one or two or three people. It's really the whole offense.
Thanks a lot, Sean. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, hope you're doing well. Real quick, any updates on injuries, specifically like Stephon Diggs, Tre'Davious White, some of the guys who got banged up at the end of the game?
Yeah, I mean, we're, the good part is we haven't had to practice yet, so we're still working through that. And, we'll continue to monitor their progress as we move forward. And hopefully we're going to get back on the field Wednesday here. So hopefully before Wednesday's practice, I'll have a little bit more clarity for you guys on those specific names.
And then as for, it's kind of going off of what Thad was asking about with the seeds and everything, where is the balance of, potentially getting some of these guys banged up? Because I know basically everybody gets banged up at some point during the football season, getting them back as close to 100% as possible and potentially giving them a game or two off, while at the same time still playing for the highest seed and obviously trying to win every game. Where's the balance there?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely schools for both, schools of thought on both ends there, and reasons to do both things. It's just, but you can't do both. So you want to be smart as possible, and I can promise you we'll do that. We're going to be as smart and as planned out as possible to try and give our team the best position in the playoffs, and then also to move forward.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it.
Hey, Sean. Obviously, you get New England here this week on Monday, second time this season. They were eliminated from the playoffs this week, banged up a little bit. What do you expect? What challenges do they pose going into their building on Monday night?
Well, it's the defending AFC East champs that have held that position for multiple years. So one of the greatest, if not the greatest coach ever to coach our game. They're going to be prepared. They're going to be well coached, and they'll be ready to go. So, we're going to have our work cut out for us, and we got to get back to work. That's really what you do, is you get back to work after you want to celebrate it, but you got to get back to work and improve.
Thanks, Sean.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, Adam Benini. I guess my question for you is, I think you've referred to that, like coaching a team as you pursue perfection that you'll never truly attain, but where your team is coming around from, you just talked about the offense, where the defense is improving down the stretch here, playing some of its best football. Where are you maybe in the realm of where you want to be in terms of playing your best ball with 2 games left in the regular season? How do you see that? What's your take on it?
Well, I think, Adam, it's an ongoing conversation, right? It's chasing, as you mentioned, something that we may never be able to attain, but that chase is also part of the process, and I think that's what you got to be passionate about is the chase, is the pursuit of something that may never be achievable, but you're always trying to get there. And I think our team is playing good ball. I really do. I'll give them a lot of credit. We've got to continue to push one another, encourage one another, hold each other accountable, because there's more out there. Just not just in terms of the playoffs and everything, but just in terms of what we can do as a team. And I say that, respectfully and humbly, of course. But that's the growth mindset of always trying to work on. There's something to work on every day. And, but at the same time, very confident about who we are, and, but chasing more, really. So.
I appreciate that, Sean. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah.
John Worrell. Hope you had a nice Sunday off, at least. Just wondering, we don't often get to see the behind the scenes views of how the team is and how Josh Allen is. But watching that video from Saturday night, the post game huddle that we saw from Josh, what did you make of? I mean, we know this. I mean, what do you make of what Josh said and the way he bluntly put it? This hat and shirt's fine and dandy, but I want one of those bleeping Super Bowl champs, or one with the Super Bowl champs on it. What do you make of that? And what was your reaction to how blunt and really real he was there?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you want that type of mindset from your quarterback or from your captain and one of your leaders. Now it's, what are we going to do about it? Now it's like I mentioned earlier, John, let's get back to work, because that's really what you got to do. You got to get back to work and move on. Right. So there's a lot of people that have said things, but now, we've got to reset and get ourselves back to work, move on, and continue to grow and get better. So again, it goes back to how much you really, and I'm not saying with respect to Josh, because I know Josh, but just gets back to the process, gets back to really loving the pursuit of what's out there, and being passionate about the chase. So we got guys that love football and love to compete, and I think that's the foundation of it, really.
It's not often we see Josh so unfiltered, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the locker room, you guys love those live locker room shots, right? I think that's what you get, and I think that's that's the rawness of the locker room, and just in terms of the emotion after a game like that. And I think it shows Josh's maturity, just in terms of being able to think about the next step in a moment like that. And I certainly appreciate that about him and his growth as well. So yeah, like I told you before, I love the mindset. But we also know that there's, we got to respect everyone out there, and this is the time of year where you got to be at your best, and we certainly have work to do to get there.
Good stuff. Thanks, Sean.
Sure.
Hi, Sean. Curious what concern, if any, you might have about the health and safety, I guess, of your players, given how up close and personal some of the fans got late Saturday night at the airport.
Yeah, Matt, it's something that, we always want to be smart about. We did talk about it, just trying to be smart about it. I mean, these are unprecedented times. So, certainly hope everyone was as smart as they were able to be, and as careful as they were able to be. This virus transmits in ways that I'm not a doctor that I don't even know about, I'm sure. So I just hope and pray not only for our team, but for everyone that was out there, that they, are able to remain safe through this thing here. So.
And do you think, I mean, sort of out of your control, but where do you think things stand in terms of potentially getting fans in the building, and what impact do you think Saturday night may have had on that, one way or the other?
Well, obviously that decision falls, not in my lap, but in the powers that be at the state level there, and the decisions that they make. Certainly appreciate them being open-minded to it. It sounds like, and I know we would love to have that opportunity to have fans. And so, I really appreciate the way that, from what I understand, that conversations have taken place through the course of the year in a way that's healthy and respectful and everything. So I think, just again, we're doing everything we can to control that in terms of winning games and creating excitement and energy around our team. And I think our fans would appreciate that. I know our team would. And but at the end of the day, the only thing that we can control, Matt, is what happens on the field. So that, again, that decision lies in the hands of people that are at the state level. So.
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, Mike Catalana. I know this isn't what you're focused on, but during the game broadcast, Brian Daboll's name comes up all the time. They show shots of him. He's come up a lot. You've been a guy in that spot before. Your team has success in Carolina. You're that guy that everybody talks about. One, what is that like while you're coaching? And two, how has Brian, if at all, that you would recognize, handled maybe the extra attention he's gotten with all your success?
Yeah, I mean, what it's like, just me going through it. Went through it for a couple of years, I guess 2 or 3 years there. It's nice to be recognized. I think the key is that keep everything in perspective, right? That just what I learned going through it, and then the biggest challenge is balancing that along with doing your primary job. And I think that's where you want to be prepared for the next step as professionals. Brian's certainly done a really good job. And I would recommend, Brian or Leslie for the next step. I think both have done a phenomenal job, and that's what comes with success. And yet you've got to be mature and professional enough to handle that, all the while chasing a championship. And because these opportunities don't come along every year. And so certainly very happy for both of those men, Leslie and Brian both. And I think they're both well-deserved.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, the Pro Bowl announcements are tonight. There's a pretty good bet that you're going to have at least a couple of guys and maybe more than a couple named to the game. If that does indeed happen, what's it say about them and about the whole team as well?
Yeah, I think there's quite there'll probably be more guys on our, and I'm biased, probably be more guys on our team that should get it, that don't, I'm sure there'll be some guys that get it, but I'll be, again, biased with this, but to me, we've got more than the guys that are probably going to be recognized. And so, I just have a great affinity for our guys, and I see what they do, and I see how they play every week. And so I think at the end of the day, that's some of it's a result of team success as well. And quite honestly, so all good recognition, all good to see. And I know how our guys handle that stuff. I mean, they're so humble. They're team first guys that I don't ever worry about that type of stuff, but very happy for them, the guys that will get recognized.
And if I could follow up on Stefan from what you said earlier, there was a report after the game that the team thinks that he escaped the worst case scenario with that. I know you, not to try to pin you down on an exact timetable, but in regards to him specifically, have you at least been able to rule out anything serious, knowing that you still need to get him on the practice field?
Yeah, I believe so, Jay. The reports that I've gotten to this point are not overly worrisome, but just like with Steph and kind of the other guys in that classification, just in terms of, we've got some guys with some nicks and bumps and bruises and things and sore, and so in fairness to you guys, trying to give you better clarity, I don't have great clarity yet, because we're not taking the field tomorrow yet. So, but I'll give you, I think Wednesday, I'll talk to you guys again before practice, and I'll give you what I know.
Cool. Thank you.
Sure. You're on mute, I think, Marcel. I can't hear you, buddy.
How about now?
Yep, got you.
There we go. I just pulled it up so that I could read it without paraphrasing. But Jay Feely was tweeted earlier today about the importance of special teams, saying, if that it's hard for a team as a whole really to succeed if GMs don't prioritize signing players who, thrive on that side of the ball, and that at the same time, head coaches need to treat special teams like a priority. Made me wonder how much, from your perspective, have you and Brandon prioritized that side of the ball, not just during this season, but throughout your entire tenure in Buffalo?
Yeah, I think we've always made it a point to, back up or walk the walk, I guess. We've talked the talk, but I think we've gone out of our way and been very intentional about walking the walk as well, because we've talked that talk, and it's just, you see, I think with what we've done this off season of late, but even going back to year one, Marcel, with, just we brought in Hausch, who was out there and being very intentional about our kicking game. And Hausch had the career here that he had, which I thought was a good move for us, picking him up. And, we're always very, just like any position, very aware and intentional about trying to improve our overall roster, whether it's offense, defense, or special teams. And I would say practice wise, we allocate maybe as much time, if not more than any team out there on special teams. And I think you're seeing that, along with developing players and coaching, as being two other key facets to that side of the ball. Is you're seeing us grow and improve in those areas, in particular on special teams. And it helps, like always, to have good players. So, I think Andre Roberts has done a phenomenal job. I think our kicking game has been solid in a lot of ways. We've affected field position. But like anything else, more work to do there. So I would say that we are a team that talks it, but I would hope that most guys on our roster would agree that we also walk it as well.
Gotcha. And then just one more for me. Y'all have had a long week, a short week, cross-country trips, mile-high games, just in the past 4 weeks alone. You got another long week here. What has it been like trying to keep a routine going as so many other factors change in your schedule?
Yeah, that's just you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable, and I think our buildings gotten used to that. So, I'm just waiting when we're going to go to the spot that they can tell me regrow his hair, because I'll take that trip.
Sure, it'll help as it gets cold out here, man. It's not bad. It's like a built-in hat, man.
I could use some of that, Marcel.
Oh, man, if salons don't open up soon, I'll let you borrow some.
All right, thanks.
But all right, appreciate you, Sean.